All right, welcome back, everybody, to Card Merchant Dunedin for our day two of the 2-day event. Today, we'll be having a bunch of exciting Living Legend CC rounds. How are you doing, Cash? Oh, Cash? Well,
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. Sorry, folks, just on mute there. While
no, you're all good. It is a nice lazy Sunday morning as we sort of get settled into it, and we're just sort of vibing out. I did come to the office early today, forgot my swipe key, and then I spilled coffee on myself, and then now I'm here, ready to cast.
you-
So it's definitely
you're like
been
a
a morning.
you're like a walking episode of The Office.
Yes, I am terrified I'm going to spill something around me on some of this electrical equipment, so I'm going to be very safe while we get settled in for the day and get into the groove of things, vibe it out. But round one about to begin between Greg and Angus. Briar, sort of a very classic aggro deck that has dominated the CC meta when she was around, and now sort of making her appearance in Living Legend as well. And Nu, a terrifying assassin that really tore up the CC format. And here in Living Legend, and is that a count your blessings that I see on top of that table?
Oh yes, you can count one of them things. So it looks like we have new Alluring Desire with Count Your Blessings in tow, a premier fatigue deck for the Living Legend format, looking to banish cards, gain life, and run the opponent out. It was a little bit of a menace for a while in Classic Constructed, and has been making a few little waves in Living Legend. Nothing too major, but yeah, it
Yeah,
seems like I was going to say it seems like the we had that initial power surge of like the Monarch and Tails era of heroes, and that all the heroes that have joined them since have never really been like, oh yeah, they're Living Legend, but they're not in the leagues of like OG Prism and Starvo and Chain. But I think Nu is like maybe there. I think like that hero ability is pretty crazy, and obviously with uh, with all of the assassin cards, you got your Bonds of Agony and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
I could see No being up there.
yeah. Just on the face of it, like Nu's hero text is actually kind of insane. The ability to like look at the top of your opponent's deck, banish it, play blue cards from their banish zone, like that is like a fundamentally very powerful ability. And especially with all that disruption she brings, and now with Count Your Blessings as well, gaining all that life, playing all those mind games. Am I going to disrupt you with some pumps? Am I just going to gain life and fatigue you? Like your opponent has to like constantly battle both game plans. So it's going to be very interesting. Briar, a very classic sort of aggro deck. The ability to get that embodiment of lightning when you play two non-attack actions. Just the, in quotes, ability to get free embodiments of lightning. Quite an insane ability in Flesh and Blood, and really speaks to the power level that Tales of Aria sort of brought to Flesh and Blood.
Absolutely, and of course we're here with the Store Championships, which is a local New Zealand-based series where
Yeah.
players are competing for the chance to essentially fly up to the Legend Story Studios office. So
Yeah.
if you win, you get flown up to the final top eight bracket, which will be held in Legend Story Studios HQ in Auckland, and the winner gets a fully gets qualified for Pro Tour Yokohama, as well as some extremely epic prizes to go with.
Yeah. Yeah, and if if you win one of these series and you make it up to the LSS studios, I will also personally give you a firm handshake. And it's just gonna be such a blast.
I mean, that's you can't miss that. That's like
Yeah, honestly. And
goodness
also I
gracious.
believe the top eight of today gets one of those sick Pallades playmats that we're seeing right now on the board. That very, very fun promo Pallades.
I think also we there are some promos. There's that beautiful rainbow foil Tadeo version of Pleiades as well. Flesh and Blood's
Oh,
first
just getting the
Tadeo
card as well.
translated
That's
card.
sick.
Yeah, so it exists as a marble in
Yes.
Super Slam, and it also
Yeah.
exists here as a rainbow foil promo that you can only get from this Store Championship series.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, they've just rolled off and the game's about to begin. I believe we were watching a few of Angus's games yesterday. my memory fails me. Was he on
He was on Prism.
KO? Prism. Yes, I was about to say
He was
Prism.
he
I
was
doubted
he was
myself,
that
and then I said KO.
he was the crazy Prism who was
Yes, yes.
doing some crazy things. So here we see him on Briar, not going back to OG Prism apparently, but maybe it's just the meta for it. I mean, the first thing I want to point out is Duskblade. Look at that,
Oh
bloody
my
good
God.
sword that cut down in
Yeah,
its prime.
that was. Yep. Definitely no mistakes here. A definitely intentional card that was printed. Very, very powerful. The ability to sort of snowball a game by getting a bunch of counters and just getting things out of control. So, especially when the game is intended to go long with new presenting things like CYB, Duskblade can severely punish a game plan like that.
So we're going to see New start off with Command and Conquer here. Just put a card in Arsenal, which is going to see some blocks from Angus. So little bit of a slow start, but we're going to see Channel Mount Heroic immediately hit the board, which is one of Briar's
Wow.
massive power plays, which is going to increase the damage of a Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning, a notorious card for the amount of damage increases it creates. Young, did you ever play much with Ball Lightning?
Yeah, I used to. So Ball Lightning was in my first ever Flesh and Blood deck that I built, which was Lightning Lexi, which ran 9 Lightning Presses and 9 Ball Lightnings, and I used to have an absolute blast with it. But Ball Lightning just getting blocked out. I mean, Ball Lightning is such a powerful setup card. It has Go again. It deals 3 damage, 6 thanks to Channel Mount, and then whenever you deal damage this turn, it deals an extra 1. So the crazy potential to explode with when Ball Lightning is on the combat chain is very scary.
This will, of course,
But I do miss that card. I do miss Lightning
yeah.
Lexi.
This will, of course, as well, if it deals damage, it allows Briar's ability to trigger. We've got a Swarming Gloomveil coming in next here. Angus electing not to try and get that counter on Duskblade, instead trying to utilize the Channel Mount Heroic for big damage. Duskblade, of course, you have to play a non-attack and an attack to get your counters onto it. And Angus is
Yeah.
deciding to favour the damage here. We've got Surgical Extraction coming back from Greg. This is how Nu is going to try and survive this game, is by using multiple forms of disruption in order to try and keep Briar from dealing massive amounts of damage, and hopefully running them out of gas using Count Your Blessings to survive. But that Embodiment of Earth, we know what that one does, don't we, Yu Yong?
Yeah, gives your attack action cards +1 to their
Non-attack action
defense.
cards.
Non-attack action cards. That's exactly what I meant. Which is
You're a
why
Lexi player, so you're only familiar with the Ice and Lightning, right? What are these green cards?
I am still waking up. Yeah, what are these green cards like? Oh, like every time I saw one, I was like, okay, I guess you get one every turn, but I don't really care. But
Yeah.
yes, non-attack action cards +1 defense. Sorry, I know how the game works. I swear.
No, you're doing great. So Angus
but
is going
surgical
to
hits.
elect to take the Surgical Extraction here, which is going to allow Greg to banish a card from his hand, as well as the top of the deck. Getting a Nimblism there, that's a pretty good hit for Surgical, because not having it in Graveyard can really turn off anything like the Jack B Quicks, the Jack B Nimble, stuff like that. Because, Modern Briar does play a little Nimblism package with things like Nimby. Nimby, of course, can be given Go Again with the Embodiment of Lightnings. Search out Nimblism, use it on the same turn. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Greg, obviously knows what's coming in Angus's hand here from the Channel Mount, but it's still a lot of damage. I mean, that's a Snatch, which we're going to pop back in hand first, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
going to use
just
Activate
making this
Grasp
rune chant here
first
first.
as well.
Very
Yeah,
respectable.
to not break the chain. So we're going to come in for 7 here, threatening draw a card. We've got Snapdragon Scalers live, so there's always the chance that this has to be blocked out, or this turn could get a little bit out of control. Yep, so Greg's just going to respect that with a block for 7.
That is 2
Really
cards
wanna
and a piece of
try and-
equipment, though.
Yeah, well, you really want to try and block out those Channel Mount Heroic turns if you can, especially if they threaten
Yeah.
card draws, because every new card could be another attack with the +3 on the back of it. And
Yeah,
there's only one
exactly.
Earth card in the pitch zone this time, so this Channel Mount is very likely to disappear. So Greg's probably happy to block this one out. Just kind of try and drag the Briar down to his level.
Oh, but he's gonna activate the snappies here because he really
Yep.
wants to cash in this Channel Mount heroic value, swing that Lightning Surge for 7, really valuing that extra 3 damage rather than putting that card into his arsenal, which would have given it natural go again in the next turn cycle. Very aggressive play. He's saying, I really want to cash in all my equipment and all the value I can get out of this Channel Mount Heroic as soon as possible, because I want the game to end ASAP. So a very, very aggressive play there, kind of showing the game plan that Angus has in mind for this game.
And let's look at our favorite friend, Bonds of Agony. Oh man, I miss this card. Don't actually miss this card. I played Marionette, and it just kind of like I'd play it. Like it was a good card, but it was much more threatening and slippy than it was Marionette. It was
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel free being able to play my deck the way I want without having to build around Bonds of Agony. But here in New, it's pretty devastating because it's extremely easy to activate all 3 reactions needed with the equipment that's on board, as well as a number of attack reactions that Greg could hand. And Bonds of Agony is a huge card in this matchup because if it hits a key card in Angus's hand, it can remove all copies from the deck. And we see a Channel Mount Heroic in Angus's hand. One's been played, there's one in hand. This could potentially rip the third one. That would remove Angus's ability. That's it. Like not having channel mounts would remove a avenue that Angus has to actually push damage. And I think in a matchup like this, where Nu is trying to run you out of cards, run you out of threats, you want those cards. You need to do crazy big turns, and you need to do them quick before Nu sort of stabilizes and sort of grinds you out. So this is got a pretty tricky block here for Angus.
Yeah, thankfully he does have that embodiment of Earth, potentially giving him some extra block value to try block this out. And he's just going to slam in that face purgatory. He wants to keep the tempo. He wants to cash in all these equipment early to make sure he's ahead and not get blown out. So heads up, let's see if this pays off.
This is and there's just the neck discarded.
Discards just the neck.
This is a really heads-up play from Angus because he can't lose that Channel Mount Heroic in hand, and this is the perfect way to block before Greg can deploy any of his attack reactions and make sure that this Bonds gets stifled, and this will allow Angus to play out some cards and be ready to go. And look, he's got Enlightened Strike in hand, he's got an Earth Blue, he's got Channel Mount, and he's got a counter on Tunic. This is such a clean turn cycle for Angus. Gonna play it out. He's just gonna Arsenal. And he's going to hope that there's not enough.
Not a lot of disruption coming his way. He's just probably going to hope Greg is holding on to like 3 defense reactions. But here comes another surgical extraction.
So an annoying card to deal with, but still a little bit.
This time.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So important to note that Angus does not have an embodiment of Earth this time, so will not get that +1 on his non-attack action cards. So maybe potentially slightly trickier to block this out this time.
Yeah, it's you've got the Channel Mount live, you've got an E-Strike and Arsenal, Tunic up, so if you can eat it and lose a card, that's maybe fine. I guess it's also, seeing a surgical basically allows you to decide whether you're like, okay, I'll let them take a card, maybe I'll block it. The worst thing you want to do is try and block it and then get hit by it anyway with a card. And it looks like he's just going to let it hit, lose a card, happy with that. Lose some random garbage from the top of the deck. You really put it on your opponent to choose what card to take out. Because this turn's looking pretty hot.
Yeah, especially when he has that Channel Mount Heroic out. He needs to maximize the number of cards in his hand to get the most value out of it. And the worst case scenario would be incorrectly blocking it. So losing cards on the block and then losing cards to the on hit. So he's just saying, I'm just going to play it much safer, say no blocks, only lose 1 card and try do what I can here. But
so Greg elects to take the Swarming Gloom Veil, which reduces the amount of go again attacks in Angus's hand to be able to capitalize on that Mount Heroic. Plays his first Count Your Blessings of the game, a small start, but we see him pitch quite a few others. Angus is going to play Everbloom, which is going to be the first part of his non-attack requirement, but also you only have to play 1 in order to get your Duskblade live. So this will allow Angus to recycle some cards and get his turn going with Channel Mount and Duskblade. We're off to the races, baby.
Yeah.
He's going to elect to play the second Everbloom here as well, so he really values that embodiment of lightning, probably to be able to play either the Snatch or the Enlightened Strike, probably the Snatch, which, if it hits, gets to draw him a card into Enlightened Strike. If it doesn't, he's going to follow it with the Duskblade. It's looking like a pretty good turn cycle from Angus, but not a lot of like huge damage coming off the back of Channel Mount Heroic. He's got one left to be able to try and set up, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's it's hard.
especially because on the yeah, it's looking a bit tough because especially on the previous turn cycle, he didn't attack, purely set up this Channel Mount Heroic and full past, and now he is going to try and get a card draw off this, so it's going to be 8 go again draw a card in the hopes that he rips another attack off the top. He really needs to at least get 2 attacks off with this Channel Mount Heroic for it to even be worth it. If he only gets 1 plus 3 instants off this Channel Mount Heroic before it dies, it's going to be very bad for Angus.
So Angus electing to go for the Enlightened Strike play instead of the Snatch, just going for more damage instead
Yeah,
of threatening a draw. Probably because he knows that that equipment can quite cleanly block the Snatch, and so he's just going to go for more damage.
yeah.
And Greg's electing to take this,
Oh,
and then
what a good
we drew
rip
into
off the
a
top.
Ravenous Rebel, but it
So
reveals an
good.
Anthem of Spring. It reveals a blue, so it only attacks for 2, but then it gets plussed by Channel Mount, so it's going to come in for 5 here. We've got
Yeah.
Fate Foreseen blocking up most of the damage.
And he has the tunic for the Duskblade if he wants it here.
Going to get that train rolling. Not a bad
Yeah.
turn from Angus.
Yeah, not bad. That rabble hit off the top was very, very good. Unfortunately, it did hit a blue, but still, the ability to get some more value out of that Chinaman heroic, very important here.
We're going to get our Duskblade in, and we're going to get our first counter. This pumps it up to 3, which is like on par with, Dawnblade or Reaping Blade. But the cool thing about Duskblade is it just keeps going as long as you can keep playing.
Yeah. So now, if once these counters start building up, there will be some pressure on Greg to try rip as many cards out of Angus's hand so that he can't swing the Duskblade, can't meet its condition, and make it lose its counters to sort of reset that blade. So let's see what Greg can do. Only one Count Your Blessings so far in the grave, and Greg is already on 19 life.
Yeah, and if you can't rip away these non-attacks and attacks from Angus to force the Duskblade down, it can get out of control really quickly. So it looks like we're going to see a levels of enlightenment hit the field. In response, we're going to transcend with a chi. We're going to activate new, banish a card off the top. We're going to see one of those cool meld cards go. This one specifically for Briar, the Regrowth Shock, which is only playable in this hero currently. That's
Yeah.
going to give in levels a go again, draw a card. So looks like Greg, with some non-block chi in hand, is just you gotta play the engine cards. Can't block. Gotta play them out.
Yeah.
And then Codex of
Oh,
Frailty, that beautiful marvel, and that's with 2 floating as well. What a fantastic card to send at Angus on this turn.
yeah,
Likely bringing back a Command and Conquer and forcing Angus
yeah.
to discard a card. He gets to put an attack back as well, but he's also going to have to deal with blocking this Command and Conquer.
Yeah, there is some temptation to hit the levels of enlightenment again, bring it back because he does have 2 blues in the pitch, but electing for that much safer, much more consistent, disruptive play here.
Yeah, I think he's going to try and do what he can to stop Angus from going overboard with all of his attacks and discarding a card from his hand and forcing him to choose between an arsenal or some cards from hand as well. Is a great way to just stifle those turns. And so Angus goes for Nimby here,
Very powerful
potentially
card.
deciding whether he's going to just take the Command and Conquer or if he's going to block out, play this Nimby, search and Nimblism. Let's see what Angus decides to do here with blocking.
Yeah, he does have another Nimby in hand.
That is true.
All
So
right.
if he can get his non-attack, so he's just going to take it and lose the Nimby. So he's not too worried here.
Yeah,
He's just going to play out his hand, eat the discard from Codex, try and
yeah.
keep this Duskblade live now.
I mean,
So
Nimby, just one of those absolute powerhouse cards.
we've got non-attack number 1, Anthem of Spring. Non-attack number 2, Regrowth Shock, dealing damage, doing some earth things. We're going to get our embodiment from playing 2 non-attack action cards, which is going to give an attack go again. I think we're going to see this Nimby come down into a Nimblism,
Yeah.
which he will
Nip.
likely pitch for the Duskblade. But let's just see what he does here.
Yeah, Nimby just like inherently such a powerful card, especially if you can give it go again, because it swings for 3, and if it has go again, you get to draw another red Nimbleism, which is another +3 damage. So essentially equates to a 0 for 6 in many decks and many plays. So
I
very
wonder if
powerful
he's got
card
a.
here.
I wonder if he can search a blue here to be able to activate Grasp as well. That would be quite hot.
Yeah. Just a lot of flexibility. Sometimes fixing your resources, sometimes just giving you a +3 pump and sort of setting up more non-attack actions for the next turn. But there is definitely some temptation to swing that Duskblade here.
So it looks like he's going for the red Nimbleism, so he might not be playing the blue one. Just had a check of the deck list. So it looks like, yeah, the role of Nimbleism in this deck is mostly for aggressive purposes, but here we're going to see it pitch to get that second counter on Duskblade. This Duskblade is now going to swing for 4 every turn. And here we see the second Count Your Blessings, gaining 4 life. Greg's kind of low, but, once you get that Count Your Blessings train rolling, sometimes you can really head off. Leave no witnesses coming in. There's no arsenal here on Briar's side of the field, so this is just raw vanilla damage. Nothing to worry about. Yep, Angus doesn't care. He says, don't care, gonna take it. Banishing a Force of Nature, that's okay. You don't have to deal with that one. That's all good.
Yeah.
Now he gets to play full grip.
So yeah, he finally sort of gets a bit of tempo back on his side, and he really needs to convert those 4 cards because we really want to try end this game as soon as possible. He has 2 counters on Duskblade, and he has full grip. Greg only has 2 Count Your Blessings so far. Really want to push all that damage and pressure as much as possible before those Count Your Blessings get out of control. So 4 cards, let's see what he can do.
Non-attack and an attack with go again is all you need. Okay, so it looks like we're going to see Skyward Serenade. What a powerful card designed for Aurora that's found its way into Briar.
Yeah,
so it looks like we're going to create an embodiment of lightning and search for a Skizzik. And also, it's got go again. So we've now played the non-attack. We've got a go again. We've got Skizzik coming in. That's going to get +1 from embodiment, giving it go again. Wow, we're going to see probably quite a few attacks this turn, Young.
Yeah, one more non-attack, and then we get another embodiment of lightning as well. It's just going to be. It's finally getting the sort of sequencing that he needed to be able to go wide through all these 4/4/4s.
We're very comfortably able to pump this, keep this Duskblade climbing as well. So this looking pretty dodgy for Greg at 15, facing down a big Duskblade, more attacks coming in. So Greg's looking to take it. We're going to see this blue pitched in order to activate Grass with 1 floating.
Yeah, we like to see it. The 1 resource floating, we'll be able to swing that Duskblade later on in the chain. So he has now also made 3 aura tokens, so Swarming Gloomveil getting all 3 modes active.
Absolutely. 4 go again, on hit, arcane damage can't be prevented. Not too concerning, that last bit, just because there doesn't, very likely no more arcane coming in this turn, but still a lot of damage to be throwing at Greg before swinging in that Duskblade, which will be going up to 5.
Yep. I mean, that blade just keeps growing.
Sink Below comes down to block the Gloomveil.
That beautiful, beautiful promo.
Another Swarming Gloomveil coming down for 4 go again. Well, if you're Greg, you really have to pull out some answers or get some life gain, because this is getting out of control extremely quickly. You had some good disruption, but Briar is just starting to steamroll now.
Yeah. And because Greg is only on 14 life at the moment, he has very small buffer of life left where he can just say no blocks and try strip cards to stop this Dawnblade, because that Dawnblade is a huge ticking clock, now going up to 3 counters. And he elects to take it because he needs to keep his cards to stop that Dawnblade getting any bigger. And this is the turn that he's decided to do that.
He's probably also hoping that Angus will just brick on all attacks or all non-attacks, because that would solve the Duskblade problem. So it looks like he's going to play Leave No Witnesses. Interesting, he didn't block with his breakwater, the undertow stilettos. So he clearly must have another source of go again, either in a chi or a hiss. Oh, we've got a Siren's Call in here, being able to look at the hand and rip a blue, and it does not look like there are any blues in the hand.
No.
Oh no, there's a Regrowth Shock.
Oh, yes, 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 there is, which is a blue.
Okay, so we do get something. Whew.
Yeah. It would have been devastating if that hit nothing.
And then we're going to count your blessings at instant speed. That's going to gain a little bit extra life, but I don't know if this is enough to be able to stop the train, the
Yeah.
Duskblade train.
Um,
This embodiment actually just fully blocking the leave no witnesses.
yeah. So yeah, so Greg really had to try pull all the, for example, all the attack actions or all the non-attack actions out of that hand. But unfortunately, Angus' hand was quite resilient that turn, so that piece of disruption not quite doing what he needed it to do.
So Angus is going to elect to play both of these non-attack actions out into a snuff out for 8 go again. On hit, draw a card from Plunder Run. On hit, create an embodiment. And Snuff Out has a disruptive ability as well, but I believe he needs to already have an aura in play for that to activate. Now, if
Yeah,
this hits, he'll be able to draw a card to swing Duskblade. So absolutely, Greg has to not let that hit. But the important thing is he's played an attack and a non-attack, which means he keeps the counters on his Duskblade.
yeah. So Greg will just have to find another opportunity to try disrupt this Duskblade.
So we've got Persuasive Prognosis coming in. This threatens to banish cards from his hand and also gain some life. So potentially these disruption cards, all you need to do is hit like the one non-attack or the one attack, and just hopefully that will be enough. But I mean that Duskblade is very threatening right now. So
Yeah,
Angus is going to commit
just
the grasp. He's just going to say, if you've got it, you've got it.
wow, fearless. Yeah,
He probably also thinks he can eat an attack, and it's probably fine. He probably, if he can just keep enough cards, that Duskblade can do all the work.
yeah,
No longer
yeah.
have to play these massive turns with Channel Mount Heroic when you've just got a sword that swings for 1 billion.
Yeah, and just that two block very effective, and at the very least canceling out that alluring wave arm piece that Greg has access to. So, but here
Justin
is
Nick
Justin
off the
Nick.
top, pumping it all the way to 6. Angus is just going to take it, so this is going to gain Greg some life, and he's also going to be able to look at his hand and rip a card. But will he be able to rip enough to stop this Duskblade? So we're going to get 1 life off of the Snatch banished. That will be from Justin Nick, probably. It looks like he's just explaining which order it is. And here's the second banish, 1 more life. Then he gets to look at his hand and banish a red card. So he can take those one of those E strikes, or he can take the that Aurora's Meld card there. I forget the name, but he's going to take
Yeah,
that Burn Up Shock. That's the one. So he's going to take Burn Up Shock. That's the non-attack sorted. That's kind of going to actually make this hand a little awkward, because the only non-attack in Angus's hand is that blue Earthlaw Surge, which he can't
yeah,
afford to play. So I think that
exactly.
this is. I think he's out of the woods here. He's going to take the. That's going to get rid of the counters from Duskblade.
Yep, that was a very good hit. Greg finally finding the opportunity to sort of disrupt Angus's hand to get this Duskblade offline. So very good hit there, making this hand much more clunky than it was before. So a little bit of saving grace here. Greg now trying to stabilize, really turning the corner here. 3 count your blessings in the graveyard as well. So this may be the time that Greg just begins to claw this game back, and the window of opportunity for Angus to win is going to start closing rapidly, especially as he loses his counters on Duskblade. So it's going to be very interesting. Angus also only on 16 life. He has very little time left.
So still able to push 11 damage out of this turn, which is still a lot of damage. But yeah, losing those counters on Duskblade, leaving Angus open to disruption, or not being able to push as much offense off of so few cards. This is probably the breathing space that Greg needs. So he's going to block
Yeah.
there. He's going to go down to 4. But the most important thing here, no channel mount, no embodiments, no counters on Duskblade, no tunic, and a Bonds of
Like
Agony
it was
straight to the
bonds of
face. This is exactly what you need to pull back this
yeah.
game.
This is definitely the kind of disruption you want as you turn the corner, especially as Greg still has 2 cards in the grip and a card in arsenal, and both his arm and his leg piece still are representing so much potential.
And he's at 4
Um,
life, but we've already got 3 Count Your Blessings in the graveyard. So as soon as we start to see some more of
exactly.
those, he can get back online.
And thankfully, Duskblade, no more counters. So, and also Angus rapidly running out of equipment blocks. Only 1 block left on that grasp, and the tunic left. So this attack going to be extremely difficult to block. Angus thinking it through. Man, this is a difficult decision. How much do you block? If you block too much, Greg might just play a bunch of count your blessings and pass the turn.
It's also like, what's the trade-off? Like, lose cards and lose life to do like 3 damage is just not worth it. You're probably better off blocking and arsenaling and hoping that, you know, your 16 life can take the hit from another turn and that you can just push enough. But the longer you give count your blessings new breathing room, the more chance she has of healing all the way back up again. So it's a really tight position. It's a really difficult, tricky position for Briar right now, and I don't envy it. But also, you know, any deck that plays Channel Mount Heroic probably deserves to be in a difficult thinking decision.
Yeah. Also, unfortunately, Angus also has a slightly awkward hand. It's not one of those like resilient hands where you can just go, all right, no blocks, you can disrupt me, I'm going to throw a bunch of damage back. It's a hand that kind of needs to block. And this is a very difficult block to make. So he's trying to calculate what he can give up, what he can sort of arsenal, what sort of setup he needs to do, because his game plan needs to adjust right now because he lost that Duskblade sort of winning strategy. Greg is about to turn a corner and he may potentially get blown out here. He's contemplating 3 cards, which I do like a lot. Then you can just arsenal the Ball Lightning and just try have an explosive turn the turn after and hope that Greg sort of has a bunch of D-reacts or won't do anything crazy. But let's see.
So he's going to respect the Bonds of Agony, and here is a Venomous Bite which pumps it up. He's got a Fang Strike to go with it, and he's going to use the arms as well. Is this going to get over the top? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the bonds. Yep, so that's going to connect for 1 over the top, and it's going to rip the Ball Lightning, allowing Greg to take the other one. Angus was probably aware of this, that you know it's probably going to get over the top of anything he blocks with, because Ball Lightning, as you remember, it doesn't block for anything. So there's no point throwing that one down as well, unless you don't want to lose it to bonds. But it's a much better decision to hold on to it in case Greg can't go over it. And again, that counter's still on Greg's boots. He's probably far less. Angus is probably thinking he's far less likely to use the go again as well. So he's happy to just soak up some damage there, and maybe hope that Greg has a pretty mediocre turn with not that much disruption, and he can get back into the driver's seat.
Yeah, but talk about stealing tempo. Angus blocks with 3 cards, gets the last card ripped out of his hand. We'll have to just pass with no arsenal, give Greg a full grip. I mean, this is starting to look very, very scary. And yeah, and this was a very difficult block. Angus took the calculated risk, threw 3 cards down. Unfortunately, it does get through by 1. So in a very difficult position, he's got 4 cards, no embodiment of lightning, no embodiment of earth, has to just pass back and is now at the mercy of 5 cards from New.
I think Angus just knew that Bonds of Agony was gonna like ruin his turn, and there was no turn worth keeping cards for, so he just decided to preserve life because you can't block with that. So looking for a scrap coming in here. Interesting. Seems to be a fatigue deck, but now we're starting to see some aggressive tools coming out of Greg here. Followed by Siren's Call to look at the hand and rip a blue.
Ooh.
We do have some blues there. We've got Earthlaw Surge and Anthem of Spring. Both of those are pretty nice to pull down. Probably the Anthem of Spring, I would imagine. Oh no, he's going to take the Earthlaw Surge. Okay.
Just to prevent that potentially pumping something later on. We do like it. Greg does get to draw a card off that, and here's another Count Your Blessings.
There we go. That one's going to gain 4 life as a blue plus 3 engrave. And followed into Codex with 2
and
floating with a command combo coming back. Oh dear lord, this game has slipped away from Angus, because Greg's now back up to 8. He's going to rip another card out of Angus's hand and force him to decide whether he wants to block or lose an arsenal. Now Angus does have a few options here. He's got his Tunic on 3, and he does have something like an Enlightened Strike or a non-attack action. So there are options for Angus here where he can potentially throw down his Grasp and 2 cards and potentially play something like a Ravenous Rabble with an Anthem off the back of it, and then Tunic into Duskblade. But at this point, it seems almost a little bit too late to try and climb back that Duskblade. Let's
Yeah,
see what he decides
that
to put back
Dustblade.
here.
Without any counters, that Dustblade is a very, very mediocre weapon. So,
Yeah, there's some games where you're
man,
like, wow.
yeah. Certain games you're like, oh my god, this is an insane weapon. In some games you're just like, that thing attacks for two.
Yeah, I wish it was Rosetta Thorn.
Yeah, wish it was. Yeah, wish it was Rosetta Thorn. I'd be dealing two arcane and two physical. It
When
is
I used to
definitely.
play,
Yeah.
I was going to say when I used to play Chain back in skirmish season, I'd be running Dustblade in almost every matchup, even the aggro matchups where you're supposed to run Rosetta. And like every
Oh wow.
time, every time I would win, I'd be like, "Yep, sword's good."
So
But
it's
yeah,
good.
sometimes it's hard when you're low life totals and don't have a lot of wiggle
Yeah.
room to get it.
I remember during that time, Duskblade sometimes went up to seven. I saw Duskblade go up to like seven counters against Oldham, and I was just like,
Yeah,
"What the heck is going on?"
I did
Why
not
is that
see
so
Warmonger's
benign?
diplomacy.
Yeah, yep. But
Yeah,
man, Codex,
I
yeah.
I had a game into Oldham where I had I think 9 counters, and then they finally saw their Warmonger's diplomacy, and it didn't matter at that point. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, I do love every story about Oldham losing. Man, that hero was an absolute menace as a Lexi player, as a player that started on Lexi. Started with my friend Dennis who played Oldham. So roughly 80%, 90% of my Flesh and Blood games was me playing Lexi into Oldham, and me just getting smashed every game. And at the time, I was like, man, how is Dennis just such a better player than me? I swear, like I know TCG fundamentals. I shouldn't be
I,
getting smashed this hard. I'm just getting outplayed. And then I
I
sometimes
don't
look back and I go, he just played Oldham.
I don't think you can, as a Lexi player, pretend to be the victim here and be like, woe is me. I have suffered so much as a Lexi player. I only had 8 months of being the literal best undefeatable deck in the format."
All right, all right,
Okay,
all
so
right. In my defense, I only played her in the Tails meta, when she was still, like a tier 3 deck, tier 2 deck. Wasn't really meta,
so
you know.
sorry to cut you off here. This is a really heads up play from Angus. He's getting back Snuff Out and then being able to play it off of Tunic, because if it hits, he can pop the Frailty token to activate Snuff Out's effect. So he can turn this Frailty token that Greg has given to him into Disruption and discard a card from Greg's hand. So this is a really clean attack for 5 that has to be blocked,
Yeah.
giving him some extra wiggle room. Now, oh sorry, it does attack for 4 because of the Frailty, but it gets that a card from hand and a piece of equipment. Probably the best possible way to convert that hand from Angus, given the how difficult that turn cycle was.
Yeah, very cool little interaction to sort of utilize the frailty token that's given to you for a benefit.
Now we've got Persuasive Prognosis coming down. This does threaten disruption and life gain. Greg really just bouncing back, eh? Like, not really giving Angus
Yeah.
a lot of wiggle room. He's going to give the Tunic to try and respect it. He just knows, like, he's just got to get in.
Oh,
Or, yeah, it's not
yeah.
going to happen. Not with that Venomous Bite, pumping it all the way to 5.
Yeah. Five over. Oh no, four. Yeah,
Angus,
five in total. Very scary.
it's a Ravenous at the top, so he can take a red from the hand. So he's got, looks like he's got 2 attacks to choose from, Lightning Surge or Entwine. He's going to take the Entwine, because that one definitely can get go again. But that's just more life for Greg.
And
Here, count your blessings again, all the way up to 15. Wow,
yeah,
that window of victory is just rapidly slipping away from Angus.
yeah, this is looking very dire. It's very much that point in the video game where you think you almost had the boss and then they heal up and you realize there's a phase two. And this is
Yeah.
pretty much news phase two, healing all the way back up, throwing up all this disruption. Angus doing what he can, but he's already so low out of equipment, out of sort of many of the key power cards, and out of momentum and tempo, and no counters on Duskblade. He needs to find some kind of miracle turn here, and it definitely involve sort of trying to set up, maybe try have a turn that's too crazy and hope that Greg bricks and can't disrupt him on the way back. But these are very, very slim windows of opportunity. So Angus just trying to figure out what's left in the deck. Does he have to try strip cards right now, or can he bank on Greg sort of bricking very hard as his win condition?
It's so hard to brick and no, though. Like, it's very easy to brick and Briar, but it's harder to brick and no. But he's got a
Yeah,
few options here. Like, he can play this Earthlaw Surge into the Lightning Surge for 7. Looks like that's potentially what he's going to do. Losing that Entwine was pretty brutal because that potentially was the only card in his hand, the only attack in his hand that was able to get go again, allowing for a
Yeah,
Duskblade. He's just going to go for damage here. He's
yeah.
just going to
Just
hope that
gonna.
Greg is going to. It's hoping it's going to incentivize some blocks here.
Yeah. Ideally, you don't want to see any defense reactions here. And yep, no defense. Nope, there is
At
a
least
defense reaction. So it will be a clean block for 7.
Yeah, but not even getting the embodiment to try and cushion the blow for a comeback play. It's not entirely over for Angus, but like it's just the longer this game goes, the more Greg has the ability to gain life and run him out of
Yeah.
cards. Here comes a Bonds of Attraction. This one does not disrupt the hand, but it does banish cards from graveyard and arsenal, which is looks like he's just going to elect to take it because again, this is his window to play cards. This is not attacking the hand, and
Yeah.
without that headpiece, there's no chi disruption either. So this is
Yeah.
Angus's moment to be able to try and attack back, and Greg
Yeah. Definitely a huge
finally.
opportunity here. Yeah. So very thankfully, finally seeing a piece of disruption that's not actually going to disrupt him. It will gain Greg a little bit of life, but it finally gives Angus an opportunity to keep 4 cards and really try and make something happen here because this may be his final opportunity to try win this game, to try steal some tempo. Can he do it? 4 cards.
4 cards. He's got to have.
4 cards
That's
in
the
the
other thing with
frame.
Briar. You might have the 4 cards, but they also have to be playable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Everbloom. That's going to recycle a card. He's going to gain a life. That's quite a nice thing. It's also half of the embodiment requirements.
Yeah.
So let's see what he decides to put back. I'm going to put back the Skyward
Mm,
Serenade. That makes sense. This card is really, really strong in Briar, being able to fetch both attacks and give go again and fulfill
yeah.
the condition Briar.
Yeah.
He's going to.
All right. No,
Oh, he's
just
still
just having
thinking.
another quick thing through. Yeah. Very interesting decision here because he is getting quite low in that deck. What he puts to the bottom may matter quite a bit because this will need to be his sort of win condition that he's trying to sculpt with this recycling effect here. But man, we're really seeing the sort of the power levels of Living Legend. Like this Count Your Blessings that used to dominate CC, now dominating in Living Legend. Just a very powerful control ability. The ability to disrupt, the ability to sort of withstand these aggro decks and gain life back is just so powerful and makes decks like New, which are always threatening attack reactions and gaining life, very difficult to play around. But I do miss playing New. New was a very fun assassin to play.
Yeah.
Seems like I need to pick up the Living Legend format to play some of these heroes I enjoy. I mean, Lexi. Lexi's chilling in Living Legend.
True. He's
Play some
probably
Ice
good
Lexi in
even.
Living Legend. Yeah, especially with the powering down of some of the Living Legend dominators like Chain and Starvo. Being able to give things like Briar a bunch of frostbites, pretty cool. Oh,
Hmm. We're just going to. Ah, yes. Got to resolve the things that are supposed to be removed.
yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, I missed what the card was recycled. Did you see?
I believe he was putting back that card that he was looking at originally.
Serenade? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was
Cool.
Skyward Serenade.
All right. So very few cards left in Angus' deck as well. So we'll see how this goes. Burn up Shark.
Huge.
First
So that's
time
going
this
to
has
make
been
the
played.
embodiment, and it's going to deal one. It's going to give an on hit to the next attack this turn. Well, actually, it's the next
Yeah.
time an attack hits, isn't it? Which is even better.
Yes, it is. And also
Wow.
very important to note that Greg no longer has any equipment blocks left because, especially with that heads up snuff out play, he managed to get that final equipment block. So these breakpoints gonna be very meaningful here.
2 cards in hand as
So
well. You know that one of those is probably an attack, and the other one can potentially be pitched for Dawnblade. Sorry, Duskblade.
yeah,
So lots of ways this can go wrong here. for Greg, but
Yeah.
15 life still not over.
Yeah. A slimmer of hope for Angus here. He hasn't given up yet. And Greg, despite being ahead, definitely making sure he is playing this safe. These games can still turn on a dime. So, all right. And I do believe Angus does have a NIMBY here, so you can search up for a
Ooh,
Nimbleism.
with
Three
go
go
again.
again. Yeah. So this demands a card here. And then because the next attack will come in for seven, it may demand three cards unless Greg has a defense reaction. So Angus, praying there is no D react in in Greg's hand or arsenal.
He might even have non-blocks, which could potentially force that damage through. Like this is the chance for Angus to claw back tempo, and then he has to potentially keep it up that tempo. So Greg's just going to eat all of it. So he's probably got some non-blocks.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's just going to eat all of it. He's just going to go for it. Just get in there. We're going to get that
Yep, Greg
embodiment.
down to seven. I mean, it's very doable. I mean, Angus is about to represent seven here.
And here's 7 damage.
Representing lethal. Angus down but not out.
So we do have some non-blocks here. So
Oh,
we have two
two
of them actually.
non-blocks.
So we're gonna play double transcend here and probably use this rising sun setting moon to try and filter through some of these non-blocks. This is the kind of trade-off when you play as new. You have a deck full of chi and count your blessings. Sometimes you can't stop on hits. This is
Yep.
probably exactly what Angus was hoping to see
Yeah.
on
Oh
his
my
massive
God.
turn. This has eaten a massive chunk out of Greg's life and given Angus back that window. But his next hand needs to be really good, and Greg needs to not disrupt him in order for him to keep up the
Yep.
tempo.
I mean, there's even a chance that Greg just straight up has no blocks left in his hand. Let's see what he has. He needs to find some block value here to stay alive.
Well, he's already
All
eaten
right.
the burn up
Transcend.
damage as well. So like if he's got count your blessings, maybe he can live through it. But it's quite an
Yeah.
probably not the draw you're hoping to see when you put in this much work to stifle Briar.
Yeah.
Let's see what Greg can do. Looks like he's deciding on the cards to put back. Just
Just a
having a
quick judge
decision
call
here.
to sort some things out. But yeah, like despite the power level of Nu, when you shove in all these powerful cheese and all these powerful count your blessings, they do all not block. So on hits are very threatening against your deck. I think they're just clarifying which card was being synced, which card was being drawn. It is very easy to sort of accidentally sort of confuse those interactions here.
Yeah, I
But
guess you've got to
man,
resolve it before
lethal,
you flip the chi and you put it back in your hand.
yeah. And there is a lethal still on the stack here, so a lot could happen here.
I
And
mean, the
also,
only way
yeah,
it's terrible is if he can't, like, if he has only chi in hand. But
yeah,
he probably has at least one block or like some count your blessings to be able to survive this. Otherwise, he would just be
yeah.
like, GG.
Hmm. Man, I also the first round of the tournaments like this is just sort of notorious for accidents, misplays, just like things like that. I feel like I've been at so many tournaments where I go, cool, play round one, still waking up, still a bit tired, and I'll like just randomly draw five cards. And I've also been at like FAB tournaments where I'll draw my hand and I'll mulligan because I'm confused about which game I'm playing. Um, and I've had like huge penalties put on me for it, and I'm just like, oh man, just gotta wake up, gotta get into the groove of things. Round one, always very tricky in these sort of big tournaments.
I noticed that Greg's running Null Rune 2 and Spell Void 1 into
Yeah,
Briar, maybe potentially anticipating Rosetta Thorn or
yeah,
other forms of arcane damage that I think the thing that's interesting about that is you have your Arcane Lantern to stop if it's a Rosetta deck or if there's like Grasp of the Arnite and stuff like that. And then having that Spell Void stops you just dying to like a shock when you don't have anything floating or something like that. So it looks like he's been pretty prepared for those random little arcane tricks. So it looks like we're just
yeah,
going to resolve some stuff with the judge. I think maybe there was some issue with drawing and putting back just with the timing. So there's probably one card that comes out of his hand there that's a bit rough. So the
yeah,
non-block will probably, yeah, this is
yep.
probably a
So
bit
yeah,
upsetting, but
yeah. Yeah, it looks like there may have been some confusion about which card was in the hand and which card was not when the sync effect was happening. So it looks like the judge has ruled that Angus is given the opportunity, because of the confusion, to decide which card is the one that goes away, I believe, maybe. Oh,
So
just seeing a comment here. Drenish card of Rising Sun. I see, I see.
yeah, so that card's going to go on the bottom.
Yeah. Very easy mistakes made, especially in round one on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But it looks like it has been resolved. So hopefully the players should be able to relock in, seeing some smiles, seeing some laughs. Things like this happen.
All resolved now, folks. All good.
Yeah. But 7 damage still coming in. That's the whole of Greg's life. So let's see what happens here. Like this may just be the turning
This
of
is
the corner
funny.
here.
Giving
Yeah,
the attack
gives you-
go again just to be able to transcend.
yeah.
No follow up, which is good. And we're going to
Then
block,
Angus.
go down to 3. We know there's a count
Yeah.
your blessings there.
I mean, 3. Like if you have 3 shocks in your hand, might get that spell void out.
He's going to activate
Very,
Moon,
yeah. Looks at the top. Very few
play some
cards left
blue
in Angus's
cards,
deck.
and you get those final points. There's
Yeah.
probably some interesting blues he might be able to play here. And we know that there's a count your blessings there as well, so we know that he's relatively healthy. Yeah, here comes count your
There's another
blessings.
count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way back up to 10. That's gonna be extremely hard. Oh, into Warmonger's diplomacy, shutting
Warmongers.
down any potential chance for Angus to use his gained tempo that he battled back. Warmonger's stopping Briar from playing both attacks and non-attacks. He has to pick a lane, and the hero just does not work with that. Wow, that is backbreaking, because he's gonna lose all his tempo from that. And he had a Channel Mount Heroic in his hand as well. Oh, he's just gonna have to set up here probably.
He does have the E strike though, so he could go E strike go again into 4 with the snatch to at least present some damage.
Yeah, he
then
probably
try set
it
up
looks like he
next
might.
turn.
Yeah, he chose War. It looks like to try and pull back that tempo.
I mean, 5 go again, still very respectable.
Yep, take some cards out of Noo's hand, arsenal that Channel Mount, and hope that you can do it again next turn. So Sink Below is going to come down. It's going to block for 4. We're going to hopefully get a little embodiment here.
1 damage over the top. And then we throw the snatch here. Yes, we do. Here's just 4 damage.
He's going to take
Takes the
it.
4.
It's going to draw a card. No go again, so that's fine.
Yes, make that embodiment of Earth. It's going to be interesting to see which card he keeps in hand.
He's
Yeah,
going to
keeps
keep the
Channel
Channel
Mount
Mount in
Heroic.
hand, just in case there's Arsenal disruption coming back from
Yeah,
No.
because it will
Here comes
block
Count Your
4.
Blessings again. This one's going to gain
Another-
8 life. All the way
Oh
up to
my
13.
lord.
Into Codex of Frailty.
Codex. Yeah,
Threatening that Arsenal. Greg just not letting Angus have any room.
Yeah.
Good for Angus not putting that Channel Mount in Arsenal though, because that's like his last sort of ability to push big damage. Will he let
Yeah.
this card go, or will he block it out? Because it's going to require either a non-attack action, which can be quite precious to block it fully, or 2 cards. And I don't think you want to be giving 2 cards.
yeah. Like the Channel Mount in his hand can block 4 here, but he may have really wanted to keep that as his sort of final win condition. So let's see what he elects to do. Very difficult decision.
He's going to give it the 1 card block with Burn Up Shock.
Shock.
Blocks for 4.
Yep.
Draw from Ponder, Arsenal. All right, we're off to the races, Angus. You've got it. You've got a chance, but 13 life is still a lot to eat through, and the deck is looking very thin. Looks like we're just going to resolve another judge call, folks. So we'll just take a quick break. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Noo's going to get this one. This is what I would assume based on the sort of game state. That deck's looking kind of thin, but maybe this Channel Mount turn is going to be huge, and he might catch Greg with just enough non-blocks. Who knows?
Yeah, I really respect Angus to really pushing to the very end. Like, despite the game looking quite rough, trying to look for his outs, trying to look for his win conditions, still trying to set up. So it has been very impressive to watch. But man, Flesh and Blood, tricky game.
So I think the
Lot
judge
of
call
rules
was just
instructions.
over that warmonger's diplomacy, which affects both players.
Ah,
They might. What I imagine will happen is they'll do a rewind, but we'll see.
yes,
We trust our judges to sort that out.
yeah,
Yes,
man.
lots to figure out. Looks like they have resolved it, and oh, looks like
Oh,
our game has
looks like.
finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll explain what happened there.
All right, well,
Like,
Okay, yeah, story time.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I was incredibly nervous about that whole game. I started realizing that I didn't have tunic in my deck box, and I made my deck list today specifically just going through my deck box, and usually tunic's in there. And I just didn't notice it wasn't there. I did the
Right.
list, and so I'm missing tunic from the get go, and I was trying to say to myself at the start of the game, oh look, I'm just gonna try and lock in, focus on what I'm doing, and honestly, like my brain was just all over the place. Like I started getting a phone call halfway through in my pocket, and like the only phone calls I ever get is from work, and I'm currently at work, so that can't be worse. So I started wondering what that was all about. But yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, like in my head, I was just all over the show. And basically, when that mistake with the warmongers and the codex happened, I was like, that's
Yeah.
now like the third mistake in a row, and I just kind of
Yeah.
felt like I just decided to concede because I felt like there was a lot of mistakes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want people thinking that I'm playing maliciously because I'm absolutely not. Like I would much rather just concede. And,
Yeah.
That's
I
very
completely
brave of you,
respect that
mate.
decision, Greg.
Like, yeah, that's a rough position. Like we've all been there. We've all had those nerves, and when the nerves get you, it's really hard to focus, especially when like. I mean, like when you open your deck box and you've like forgotten to like put a card in, or like you meant to make some sideboarding changes and you haven't done it, and you're like, oh, it's really hard to sort of get back in the game. So definitely respect you.
Yeah, it sucks.
Taking the
Like,
time
I
to-
wanted to. I felt like I was actually winning that, so I was really,
Really, yeah,
I
I
was
didn't
really
have
like
much.
determined to try and take that out,
Knocking the
despite having
counters.
tunic not in the list.
Knocking the counters off.
It was-
the door was rough.
Yeah,
the warmongers
it was looking pretty rough. It was looking pretty rough for Angus for a moment there. Looks like he had a pretty decent channel mount turn lined up, but
Yeah. I had not a bad one. If I get to keep this as well, it's pretty nice. It depends.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a feeling this may be a blue. Oh, it's a yellow. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that was what my
So-
exam was going to
Oh,
be.
your next hand is disgusting. I got a blue next.
so Angus, you're not on OG Prison today.
No,
What's going on? What's going on?
Well, you'll find it funny to know that Briar was actually a hero that I played a lot of back in the day as well. When first Prison LL, Briar was my rebound, I guess. And so I played a lot of Briar, and I really liked it. The channel mount list was very fun. So I played a lot of it and enjoyed the deck. And obviously, Scarlet Serenade is insane with NIMBY, and there's some really cool lines in this list. So I was like, I'm going to give it a go. I was tossing up between this and Chain, because Chain's also pretty cool, but I do like
Yeah.
Iron Blades. I ended up going with this
Cool.
because I haven't played much of Chain. I played a lot of Vincent, but Chain feels ever so slightly different, and I was feeling like I was just going to lose points and not knowing things. Yeah.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
Briar's a bit more helpful.
Yeah, so how do you feel Briar's sort of positioned in this living legend metagame at the moment? Are you favoring her
she's-
chances? Do you think she's tier 1?
I think she's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe a tier 1? I guess so. I'm not very good with tier lists, so.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Do you feel confident that you'll win today?
I think you got to back yourself. I feel confident.
Hell yeah.
I don't like how this started off. I feel like this is a very unfortunate situation, and I really respect Greg. So it's like it just sucks. But I think Briar is. Yeah, she's got good legs. I think there's some tough matchups, but she's got some pretty crazy numbers. So I'm just gonna play off of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Still, despite the mistakes, great game from both of you guys. Greg, I hope you can reset that mental, dude. I've been in so many tournaments where in the same position where you like forget a card, or like you sit down for your first round, you draw your hand and you mulligan because you like forget which game you're playing. Just get like I've been like IP'd, and I'm like, oh man, I really didn't mean to do that, and then just like trying to not tilt off the face of the earth. So hope you can reset. And then good luck to the both of you guys for the rest of this tournament.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Gonna turn the
Wow,
Yeah, very good on Greg though to make that decision to just concede there. But man, I do feel for him, like especially when you turn up and in a deck where that tunic counter matters a lot, especially with Count Your Blessings, that extra resource does so much work to like smooth out your turn cycles, to threaten the attack reactions, to allow you to play two count your blessings in one turn. Like it can be quite backbreaking to not have that tunic. I thought it was like a very fascinating sort of meta choice to prevent 2 arcane, to like maybe play around like ball lightning and arcane damage and things like that. But no, it was just a very unfortunate situation where he had thought he had tunic in his deck and he didn't, and that is very rough start to the day where that's sort of just on your mind constantly and you're just trying to focus. So very unfortunate situation, but I really hope he does recover because he was playing phenomenally despite all that.
I was actually really enjoying that game, so it's a bit of a shame we didn't get to see the ending of it, because it's sort of like it was going well, and then it sort of Game of Thrones season 8'd.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll have lots of more great games for you guys on stream, so don't go anywhere. Or I mean, you can go somewhere if you want, but don't go for too long, or we'll find you.
Yeah, we know where you live.
We do.
But yes,
literally.
Let us all take a break, and I'm very upset that you've reminded me of Game of Thrones Season 8. So with that very unpleasant thought in mind, we'll be right back after this.